I am going to tell you why I left public school teaching after 5 years and kind of like what made me decide to leave public school and why I'm now a huge advocate of homeschooling or just other options. And I'm just here to spill the tea a little bit and shed the light on the good and the bad. And if you were over at my house and we were sitting on my couch and we were besties, this is what I would tell you. So I have some notes right here to make sure I don't forget, but I have about 9 or 10 questions that you might ask me. So let's get into it. I'm Brittany and this is Luke. I taught, just a little background, I taught 6th and 7th grade, mostly 7th grade for about 4 years, and then 1st grade for 1 year. That was my last year, and then I left after that. So the first question, for some reason I'm out of breath already. The first question, what were your primary reasons that led you to leave public school teaching after 5 years? So this is a good question because there wasn't really one reason, there was a lot of different things. The biggest one for why I left after teaching 1st grade for a year is I was super overwhelmed. Really? And I was very overworked. I was working like 50. Okay, thank you. I was working like 50 to 60 hours a week and still felt like I wasn't doing enough. I was spending so many days crying, and I'm not a crier. And I just felt like I couldn't keep up with it. It was like this never-ending cycle of I can't keep up, I can't do enough, and I was just completely fried. I definitely felt that more in elementary school. Those elementary school teachers, you guys are amazing because it's definitely different when you're teaching middle school, even if you have 2 or 3 different classes that you're prepping for versus like all day long. So that kind of killed me the last year. Thank you. That's why I was just sick. The other reason was just huge, really high, big class sizes. So in 1st grade, I had like 26 to 28 pretty much all the time. You know, some would move away and then we would get new ones. They were ginormous, like trying to not only keep them alive, but teach them like how to read and write. I mean, it was insane for having 28 5 and 6 year olds. It was pretty unmanageable. And it was the same in middle school, really high class sizes. And it's, you know, I taught lab classes, like the kids that needed a little bit more support. And we would have like a cap on how many kids we were supposed to have in there. I think when I was teaching it was like 20 kids. But then, you know, they would add in more kids to my classes and make them bigger too. So, you know, it's like a lot of the things that didn't necessarily have to do with teaching kids. It was like all the other things. You want Tom? A lot of it just didn't bring me joy anymore. Like my last year I was pretty miserable, and I stuck in it for the kids. I wanted to be there for them. I didn't want to leave in the middle of a year when I loved all of them deeply, and the work part of it was really hard for me, but I still love the kids and I wanted to be there and support them and be the best teacher for them. But everything else was pretty hard, really, really hard. I forgot what I was saying about that, but yeah, I was just everything but the teaching, and I didn't have joy anymore in it. And those are definitely the biggest things. And, you know, there was policies that you were supposed to keep up with, and if you had kids that had behaviors, you were tracking things. And I could, and like, if you were to come watch my class for 30 minutes, you would see me do like 12 different jobs. And then it's like time to go outside. I'm like, did we even accomplish anything, or was I just running around like a chicken with my head cut off the whole time? So yeah, definitely just kind of like everything else. All right, moving on. Number 2, how did your views on education and teaching change during your time as a public school teacher? This is a really good question also. Can you take another nap? No. I grew up loving school. Like I went to public school and I really enjoyed it, but I was a really good example of a kid that turn in all their work was like the, pet teacher. What's that name? Or what's that saying? Class, whatever, you know what I mean. The teachers loved me because I was like the perfect student and I loved it. I think as I became a teacher, I started to become aware of a lot more things, and I would look back and reflect on my experience as a student, and I would think, oh yeah, I can see how that could be better, but I just wasn't really aware of the options at that time. I'm not one to be like, this video is not about how public school is like the worst option. That's not what this is about. I'm just sharing my experience in hopes of letting you know that there's options. And even with public school, there's so many different options. So like there's different types of public school. I have friends that teach in different public schools and they have completely different experiences. So that's my biggest hope for all of this, is just sharing that. It's like helping you see things to look for, be aware of, and just know that there's options out there. That was a big one, as I just started to become aware of things, and I think I started to see that a lot of options weren't, like a lot of the times I'd be teaching and I would think to myself, all of these kids, or maybe some of them are benefiting, but I would think to myself, if this kid was in like a small group or with one person or a parent all day long, or even like 30 minutes, they would get so much more out of the day than being in this classroom, just because kids are at so many different levels. And when you're teaching, there's so many different ways to teach, but there's whole group and small group and individualized. When you're teaching a whole class, you're kind of tailoring it to what the average kid might need, and not everyone is an average kid. So I would just be teaching lessons and I could tell you the kids that this is too easy for, the kids that this is too hard for, kids that were gone the last week and they don't know what's happening, and that didn't leave very many kids left that lesson was great for. So I think when I was always asking that question of, this is not the best option, and they could be getting so much more out of a different experience or in a different situation, that got to me. His leg was stuck in the couch. Okay, so another thing is, I used to see it as like a really good place for socialization. When I was growing up, I thought it was great for that too. And then as I was teaching, I saw that it maybe is not the best. And then I reflected back on growing up. And I remember in middle school, like I was really shy, and I don't remember, I would go like days without hardly talking in school because I was so shy. And I would come home and like talk my parents' ears off because I hadn't said anything all day. It makes me like think back to that could have been a better experience. And my just perspective has changed a lot on those kinds of things when I saw it playing out a little bit different than how I thought. Moving on to number 3. How did your experience with students and their learning needs shape your perspective on education? So this is kind of similar to the last question, but everyone has different needs. Like I think when we think about students and their needs, we think about kids that need more of a challenge, or kids that maybe need more support. But everyone has different needs. Even your average kid is going to have different needs. You have needs, I have needs, and they all look a little bit different. And when you have a class of 28 kids, it's really hard to accommodate what everyone needs. It's pretty much impossible. I would remember when I was teaching middle school, I would be creating like 4 different versions of a test because of all the different things students needed. And it just made me sad, because not for myself creating those, which was a lot of work, but I just was like, they all need different things and we're not serving them best in this situation. Like, sure, I can provide this on a test, but it would be so great if there was like 10 different teachers in that classroom that could give them what they needed through every single day, And it's impossible to give everyone what they need when you have that many kids. So that was definitely something that I became very aware of as I was teaching more. Okay, Number 4, what feedback did you receive from colleagues, students, or parents when you decided to leave teaching? So it was really interesting to me when I let other teachers know about it. So many reactions were, oh, I want to do that, or I wish I could do that. And there was a lot of reasons, behind why they didn't want to, or why they weren't leaving teaching, whether it be they were so close to retirement, or, they had done it for so long that it just didn't make sense to them to try a different career and do something different. There's always reasons, but that made me sad because I just was like, wow, a lot of you guys really aren't happy in this. And it was definitely an eye-opener. 4, hi. Can you say hi? Okay. 4, when it came to students and parents, they were all very sad, and also the parents' feedback, they were super understanding, and I think it's because I had so many incredible parents, especially when I was teaching first grade, just because they were more involved, like volunteering and things like that. So a lot of them were in the classroom and they had seen what it was like, and they I'm sure could tell how it just felt very, like, it just kind of felt chaotic. Like someone has just lost their 5th pencil for the day, someone else is like picking boogers, and the other kid is about to pee their pants. They've asked to go to the bathroom. They just went to the bathroom like an hour ago, and they have to go again. They're about to pee their pants, and then like I have someone's calling me. The front office is calling me about something, and I can't forget that this kid is out. I need to make sure to make them copies of this lesson, and just a mess. And then like the parent volunteers are amazing and wonderful, and then you have to like stop a lesson to make sure they're all set up and have what they need. And it was just a little bit crazy, and every day kind of felt like that. It was not like, oh, this is just a crazy day. No, it was every day felt pretty crazy. So I think that the parents were like, I get it. They understood. They were very sad, but they totally understood it. And I think that I kept in contact with a couple of them after, and a lot of them started looking into options like smaller class sizes and things like that. So yeah, interesting. Moving on. Were there positive experiences in public school that you carry along with you? Absolutely. I will never regret any of what I did. I actually also got my master's in teaching, and I don't regret any of that. I think that one of the best things I learned is whatever you do, the things that you learn and the experiences you take with you, that never goes away. That doesn't go away. Just because I got my degree in teaching and I'm not using it to teach, I am still using it. I didn't just lose that knowledge. I still have it. It sticks with me. And you want to pass me? It sticks with me, and I'm still going to be using a lot of the things that I learned. And aside from the things that I learned, the people that I met changed my life. I met one of my best friends through teaching, and I obviously would do all of that again. To meet all the people I met, the incredible teachers I've met, regardless of the environment that's set up not very well for teachers, I have to say that the teachers in those environments are some of the best people I've ever met. They are the most selfless people. They would do anything for those kids, and I learned so much from how other people teach, and I don't regret any of it. I'm very thankful for that experience, very thankful for all that I learned and the people I met. So would do it all over again. And of course, I don't even think I said all the kids. I met so many incredible kids, and that's why I did it in the first place, was for the kids. So I would spend so many days being like, wow, this is actually my job. I get to hang out with you guys, with all of these kids, and they're so fun, whether it be first grade or 7th graders. They are both so fun. 7th graders are fun because they have they understand your sense of humor a little bit more, and you can joke around more, and first graders are just wild and crazy, and it's really fun. So many good things came from it, and that's why I like to talk about some of the things that I want to shed light on some things, but also want to make sure people are aware that there's a lot of positive things that come from it too. All right, how did your experiences in public school teaching prepare you for supporting homeschool moms and planning to homeschool your own children? So that's a great question. I'm just gonna say that for everyone. That's a great question. Chat GPT came up with these questions for me, so go Chat GPT. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I love. What can I do for you? You want your blankie? So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Life is crazy, and I am a person that never is like, I try hard to not be like, this is what I'm gonna do, this is how life's gonna work. I used to be like that, don't get me wrong, I used to be like that. But I've just realized that, you know, God has other plans for life, and you're kind of just along for the ride. So I think the more open mind I have, I've realized, the more fun I have, and the less expectations I have, and it's just better all around. So I definitely would like to homeschool him, especially in the beginning. I just don't know, but I'm really open to options, and I kind of want to look around and see what I can find. I love the idea of like a co-op, and that's where kids, you know, can be, they like homeschool with you for some of the week, and then they go with kind of a small class for other parts of the week. So there's so many options, and that's what I have learned the most, is I just kind of want to see what's out there and look into, see what I can find. So what was the question again? Oh yeah, so how did it prepare you for supporting homeschool moms and planning to homeschool your own children? So that's what I'm doing right now, is trying to help other moms that want to homeschool, letting them know that you're totally capable. It can be one of the best things, and it can be one of the best things for your kid and you, and I just want to use my experience to help other moms see that it could be a really great option. And then just preparing myself to homeschool him, or who knows what'll happen. Like I said, I'm open to options, and it's just, being a teacher has helped me kind of realize what to look for and what to stay away from. So, all right, he's getting a little grumpy, so I'm gonna move on to the last couple questions. And one of them is, what common misconceptions about homeschooling do you strive to correct? I don't know if correct is a good word, but just like bring awareness to. One of them is socialization. Like I said, when I reflected back on my experience growing up in public school, I realized that it might not be the best option for socializing. I can definitely see how there's better options. So that's one thing. I think that what I've realized is you can provide opportunities for socialization no matter where you are. So, or no matter what you choose to do. Even if you homeschool, there is a lot of ways to still get socialization in. The another one is you need a degree to teach, which is so not true. I learned so much from my college experience, but I also can tell you that I would go to teach a lesson and I'd be like, I don't even remember this, and I would have to like sometimes watch a YouTube video on how to teach it. Just because you went to college for something doesn't mean that you're an expert in it, and you can have education or experience or both and still be a really great teacher, or neither, and just be willing to learn and try. That's like having a good attitude and being willing to just learn as you go is one of the best things that you could do. So look, it's Luke. That's And I have some blog posts on that too that I go more into detail. Another one is that homeschool kids miss out on things, which I totally feel that. I have been having my own conflicts with that, like thinking about if I were to homeschool him. I think all the time about the things that I don't want him to miss out on. I've been saying a lot in this video, I feel. But I've realized that no matter what you do, you're gonna miss out on things. So it's not like, so let's say I were to send him to public school, there would be things that we would miss out on, like family time, and there's a lot of things in a day we can do if you were homeschooled. And there's other experiences we could do if he was homeschooled. So he could be missing out on things either way. And then, you know, if he were to go to public school or if he were to be homeschooled, we all know there's a lot of fun things too within public school that he can miss out on as well. So I just remembered that it's not like if you only do this option, they're gonna miss out on things. You're gonna miss out on things no matter what you do. And that's true for any decision you make in life. There's always gonna be positive things and negative things with each one. So I think that each family just has to decide what's the best route to go for them. And it can always change. Like you could homeschool one year and then public school another. You're not like set in stone for the rest of their childhood. You can always change. Another one is that they lack academic skills, and colleges actually have scholarships specifically for homeschooled kids because they've seen that their academic skills can be way higher than kids that went to public school. So I think that's a huge misconception. And I also think that homeschooled kids can learn. He got really quiet, which you moms know that that's scary. And he's just like laying on the ground right now. He took a long nap. Apparently he needs another one. This kid only naps once. He's been only taking one nap since he's been like 10 months. So he doesn't want to miss out on things. Speaking of missing out on things. So the last one is, and I was talking about the emotional intelligence. So and soft skills, things like that. I feel like there's a lack of that in public school, and there's a lot of room for opportunity to gain those emotional intelligence skills, the soft skills, and the times we're in with AI and everything, those skills are going to be really valuable skills too. So yes, all of that to say, the last thing I wanted to add in there is that this last question I put are, what are some of the biggest advantages of homeschooling compared to traditional public school? That's kind of what I had just said, a few of those, but just more time with family, more time to pursue those passions that the kids want to pursue. I've been holding on to wet puffs for about a few minutes. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And you know your child best. That's one of the coolest things, is you know them best. You already know how they learn best. You know what they're interested in, or you guys can, and you can figure those things out together. And I think that is a huge asset. And just more time to play. Kids should be playing like most of the day, even as they get older. A lot of their time should just be spent playing. And I am telling you, like, the amount of time they need for like structured learning is so small, like 30 minutes for a while. They don't need very much structured time to learn things. A lot of learning comes from so many different ways. Like you and I learn from experiencing, not someone telling us what to do, but us to like do it, mess up, and then try it again, right? Kids are the same way. And a lot of that learning just comes from playing as they're growing up. So there's a lot more that can happen in homeschool versus they're sitting in a chair a lot of the day in public school, which I have a lot of issues with. Anyways, one-on-one time, small group time, you know how much I would kill, not really, but I would kill to have had that when I was public school teaching. If I could have had small group or one-on-one time with kids every day, it'd be amazing. I'd probably still be teaching. And when you're homeschooling, you get to do that every single day, or however many days you want to do. I mean, that one-on-one time or small group time is so valuable that if you were to do that for 30 minutes, like a few times a week, they would be light years beyond like the traditional setting with a class of 28 kids. Can you tell? I'm mad that they didn't make my class sizes smaller. I still am not over that. It's fine. And just the flexibility is the last one. There's so much flexibility. I've just learned that life is so much more fun when there's more room for flexibility. And I have a job right now that allows me to have a lot more flexibility, and I'm so much less stressed. I just have, the day fits for me, and I'm not like a slave to a schedule, or kids aren't a slave to the families in general aren't a slave to like the public school model. You get to do what's best for you guys. So that's pretty cool. All right. If you have questions for me, or you have more things you want me to go in depth on, let me know. Thanks for listening to me and my child that screams, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.